You've been flipping properties and you think you're a real estate investor, but you're not. If you're flipping properties and not buying and holding real estate, you are losing the game of investing.
I love that, and I think it's totally true. The game of investing, you got to ask yourself, why are you investing? Most people, 99%, I rarely meet people who are like, I got into real estate to work more, to work harder, to have less time, to be, run into a flip on a Saturday. I rarely meet people. 99% of the time, people want a bigger, a better, a more free life. That's why they got into investing. And as a flipper, they're not achieving that. And therefore, I think it's fair to say you're losing the game. You're not achieving the results you wanted inside the game you're choosing to play. Real estate flipping to me is speculative. It's betting. It's like betting. It's not the same game because it's betting. You're betting on things. You're betting that, hey, this is going to go up based on whatever the improvements you make, based on the local market, based on whatever metrics you use. Hey, the area is growing by this amount or whatever, right? So I think that it's an entirely different game, not to mention it has a lot of different things that come with it, for different tax laws associated that are less beneficial. You're not building any equity at all. You're just unlocking that equity and spending it. It's a different thing.
Why do people get confused with the difference between real estate investing and flipping properties? And I'll say too, if someone asks me like what I do, actually I hate that question. Hey, what do you do? I usually say whatever the hell I want. But the truth is I can do whatever I want because I own real estate and real estate allows me to do that. But when I tell someone, if I tell someone I invest in real estate, probably 85, 90% of the time, they think I flip properties. Oh, you flip property?
All the time. All the time. They go, oh, so you buy single family, you flip, you make them better, you flip them, you sell them.
Yeah, no, I buy and hold cash flow real estate so I can live the life that I want. I think it's two completely different games. And I actually think flipping is harder. And not only harder, like hard has nothing to do with it. At the end of the day, whether you flip one home, two homes, 100 homes, at the end of the day, you own no homes. You own no properties. You've made money, but you've built no wealth. The only way to build wealth through real estate is owning the asset, is owning the real estate. So if you're flipping properties that make money and then you go and you're good at it, which most people are not good at flipping homes. A lot of people lose money flipping homes, or they spend a year of their life flipping a property just to break even. What a waste of fucking time. But let's say you are a successful flipper. To build wealth, you actually have to go put that money into buy and hold real estate. I can't tell you how many flippers go, man, I have flipped, I'm talking like high volume flippers, which is not most of you. I have flipped hundreds of homes and today I own nothing. That's a crazy take to me. Why not buy and hold the real estate that puts money in your pocket every single month? And then 5, 10, 20 years from now, you're like, look at all this equity I've built. My cash flow is up. My net worth is up and I've built all this equity because I've held the asset, not just played the flipping game. It's two completely different games and people are confused.
Well, I think also though, like people love the dopamine hit, the adrenaline rush, whatever you want to call it, of getting a big check, 20, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000. It's like this exciting thing, which I get, I understand that. But like, that's a lot different than buying something that's going to pay you forever as well as build equity over time, over the long run. It's a different game. Now, if you want to play both games, I think that's fine too. If you want to, I don't think most people can play it that well. I know one guy, a good buddy of mine, he's a flipper in Sacramento. He does a good job flipping and then he invests his money that he makes and he plays both games. So he makes fast money that's not tax efficient. He puts it into long money that is tax efficient. But I think it's pretty rare.
What you're talking about, he's not swinging a hammer. He's built a team.
No, he has a team. He has a team
place that handles all that flipping because he knew he can't be swinging a hammer all day. So he built a team, right? Essentially a funnel to finance and take the flipping. And then all the profits go into what? Buy and hold cash flow real estate, because that's where wealth is built.
Yeah, exactly. So I think if you want to do that, you can do it. Now, that's not an easy path, and most people will fall on their face doing it. So I commend him. I think it's rare to actually go pull that off and build a team and do that. If you want to be an investor, we talked about this last week. We were talking about real estate brokers on a different podcast show. I think you've got to go become an investor and you've got to define what that is. The other thing too is ask yourself what kind of life you want to live and then build something behind that. Stop doing this thing where you just go, okay, I'm going to become a real estate investor, therefore I'm going to go flip homes. Like you got to take a second and think about what life does it give those folks. If you go to a flippers convention and really dig in, really ask those people what kind of life they live, they're busy. They don't have much of a life. They're very, very busy. They're running around as fast as they can to make transactional money. So ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? If it's a life we talk about, where it's like we still like have things to do. We still work. We'll get on a phone call, whatever that is, but we have the choice who to work with, when to work, what to work on, when to travel, when to play, when to go to the gym, whatever. So if you want that life where you're flexible, you have time freedom, then long-term holds, that's what you've got to get into, because that's the only thing in real estate that's going to get you there. Not flipping, not wholesale, not being a real estate broker, none of that.
Why do you think people get stuck in that trap though? Like I've always found it kind of fascinating, because I don't think these are complicated concepts, right? Like it can feel slower at first, but it snowballs. Is it that people have this addiction to fast money? Like is it the the dopamine hit, like you say, from that commission check or from flipping a property? Because to me, I mean, I look back and maybe this is helpful to some of our listeners. I look back on my first couple deals and it was like a couple $100 of cash flow here. The next deal, a couple $100 more, but over time that cash flow grew. And not only did the cash flow grow, so did the equity. But where it put me in a good position, and again, like I'm oversimplifying this, but it is a very simple concept. At the end of the day, at the end of the year, 5 years, 10 years, I owned real estate. I owned assets. I owned property that cash flowed. I owned property that had gone up in value. I owned property that I could sell for a profit if I wanted to, and then put that equity that had grown into something else that's going to produce even higher cash flow. Where if you're a flipper at the end of a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, it's a forever game. You have to recycle that money. You have to put that back into something just to make that money, versus having an asset that essentially pays you for a lifetime.
Hey guys, if you like what you're hearing on the 0 to 100 podcast, come join the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind. We have a very simple goal for you. That's replace your day job, make $120,000 a year plus in cash flow, real estate, and become a millionaire. That's it. If you like that, if that's you, click the link below and we'll see you on the 0 to 100 Elite Mastermind.
Well, I think it's the turtle and the hare, right? It's like there's that whole story where it's like in the beginning, a flipper looks like they're doing better, probably doing better than somebody who's going out to buy long-term real estate, because they've got stuff happening. There's a house that they can touch and feel, and the floors are going in, and the house that's getting the new roof, and they're doing the kitchen, and it's stuff's happening, and you're running to Home Depot, and you're like moving, you're running, you're physically there, you're talking to contractors, like stuff's really happening. Where the long-term investor's going, yeah, I'm building a couple relationships, and I'm going to go buy 10 or 50 units. Like it's a slower, more methodical, it's less tangible, I think in some ways. You can't see it as much. But like you measure that person after a year or two, and the flipper is still running, chasing transactional money. The investor, by the way, has systems and processes set up. Somebody else is running them. Tenants are paying rent, and there's equity, and it's a little bit more invisible, I think, than a flipper. Does that make
it makes perfect sense. Like I love the tortoise and the hare example. Like I actually think even like I look back and I think about my friends that just had normal W-2 jobs. My friends that went to college, like. Man, I look like a fucking tortoise, like I'm buying these couple homes. I have this like beat up truck. I'm like, I live in
They're like, what are you doing, dude? Get a job.
Man, what are you doing? Right. And I'm like, man, they have a nicer house than me. They have a nicer car. But what I didn't know back then, what I didn't know is I had this mission to build wealth, and I wasn't after that easy money. And I'm like, man, they bought a home they couldn't afford. They bought a car they couldn't afford. And guess what they're doing now? They're working the same job, just wishing that they would have bought some fucking real estate 20 years ago when I was the tortoise saying, buy some real estate. They're like, well, $250 a month of cash flow is nothing. Yeah, I get that, right? But over time, a $60 million real estate portfolio pays you pretty decent, right? And it's And it's not I'm not comparing like, oh, I'm better than. That's not my point. But when you talk about the Tortoise and Hare, I remember it feeling like that for a lot of years, and it really can. Like, it's those early sacrifices that at the time doesn't feel like a sacrifice. Where the person with the W-2, the person that went to college, the person that's flipping homes rather than buying and holding, will maybe look like they're in a better position in the short term, in the now, but over time, everything compounds. Everything compounds. And those that buy and hold cash flow real estate, that compounds over time. And at some point, you wake up and you're like, man, I'm sitting on millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of equity and a shit ton of cash flow, and I can live the life I want. And I don't have to work a W-2 job, and I don't have to get up and swing a hammer, and I don't have to flip a property, and I don't have to earn a commission in order to survive. My real estate is giving me the life that I want.
I think I want to add to that too, because I think that we're hitting a nerve here. When you go and you're flipping homes or you're working a W-2, I think they're like very similar, right? Because you're trading, unless you have a massive team, which is rare, by the way, to have a flipping team. That's very tough and it's very rare. If you're flipping homes, you're working a W-2, you're trading your time, you're selling your time for money that's not tax efficient. When you go and you buy commercial, larger multifamily real estate or commercial real estate of any kind, you're starting to build systems and you're starting to build leverage where other people are trading their time to build your castle. You get that, right? When you have so if you have 50 units, every single day, those tenants wake up, go to work to pay rent, which then pays down your debt. What's interesting is in the beginning, it doesn't look sexy, but you're starting to build leverage into your life and you're starting to get people out there working for you all across the country. Wherever those properties are, people are working for you. Not to mention, you take debt from a seller or from a bank, that's depositor's cash. That's also working for you. So you always say it, Gabe, it's the most leverageable asset in the world. I agree with you, and I think it's the lowest barrier to entry as far as leverage goes for folks. Anybody can get into it and do it. But buying larger property over time and starting to accumulate that creates a situation where your life is highly leveraged. It's not that, I think there's a certain amount of work. There's almost this law, and it's hard to describe it. There's like this thing where it's like there's a certain amount of work for you to live a good life. But the question is, are you going to do the work or are you going to get somebody else to do the work? I live a really good life because I have a lot of tenants and depositors and bankers and lenders and insurance agents, and they're all doing the work so I can live a good life. That's a leveraged life. Versus if it's a W-2 or a flipping journey that you're on, then it's going to be your time that's doing the work. And I think there's a difference between the two.
There's definitely a difference. Look, and I'm not trying to shit on flippers and agents and W-2. And
we kind of are though. A little bit.
Here's what, look, I'm a very much live and let live. Like, I get excited about something, years ago, it's like, oh my gosh, real estate, like everybody needs to be an investor, or like I eat this way. And so everybody needs to eat the way that I eat because that's the healthiest. Like, I don't believe that anymore. I'm very much like live and let live. And so if your life is amazing and you love your job, great. If you love flipping properties, great. If you love, being a real estate agent, earning a commission, great. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not here to shit on that. Like, if that's what you enjoy, if that's the thing that brings you joy, the majority of the people I talk to, though, they want a life of freedom. And real estate is what has allowed us to have that life of freedom. It's not that I love real estate. I love what real estate can do for my life. And I'm not saying that, oh, my life is better than your life, or, because there's haves and have nots, and because we've built significant wealth through real estate, that I'm any better than anybody else listening to the show. But I can't tell you how many conversations I have with people that want to own real estate because they want the freedom that we have. They want that time freedom. They want to be able to spend more time with their dying parents, more time with their children, more time to travel, more time to give back. And I am simply here to say, buy and hold cash flow real estate is a way to do that. And so it's not so much, hey, I'm shitting on your life because my life's so great. Yes, I do think I have a great life. It's real estate that's allowed me to have the freedom to choose. So again, if you love your W-2, you love swinging a hammer, you have flipping like properties all day, every day, great, more power to you. But if you want something different, which is what a lot of people want, because I have a lot of conversations with a lot of people that go, I want that. I want more freedom to live my actual life. And come hang out with us. Like read our book, join our mastermind, like buy and hold cash flow real estate. It really is that simple.